The fiancé who had once been incredibly gentle with me, but later, forced me to wear nothing and accompany other men. Later, I disappeared as he had wished, and he began to search for me crazily. But it was all too late. Put it on? Phoenix sneered, his voice dripping with disdain. The straps in Serena's hand, pieced together from scraps of thin fabric, would barely cover her if worn. How was she supposed to wear such a thing? Her fingers, clenched around the garment, turned pale. Phoenix, even if you despise me, we grew up together. Can't you help Nightingale Corporation for my mother's sake? Phoenix chuckled and stepped closer, his crisp aura enveloping her, leaving Serena momentarily breathless. Even after all these years, she still felt so helpless around Phoenix. Serena, this is your chance, he said in a low voice, his words echoing in her ear, momentarily making her believe that the gentle Phoenix from her childhood had returned. She hurriedly looked up, only to meet his eyes. It's like a black pool's filled with disgust, cold and distant. The man she loved had long stopped loving her. Tonight, at room 9 in a nightclub, anyone inside could save Nightingale Corporation. It's up to you whether you have what it takes. Phoenix spoke indifferently, distancing himself before turning to leave. A nightclub? Serena's eyes widened in disbelief. That place was notorious for housing men with insatiable appetites and unscrupulous behavior. For Phoenix to send her there. If she could negotiate a deal with those men, why would she be begging him now? But after years apart, was her plea nothing more than an offer to sell herself? Phoenix. Serena's face blanched, instinctively grabbing his shirt tail as he turned away. Let's call off our engagement. If you just help Nightingale Corporation once, I promise that the marriage arrangement our families made will never be mentioned again. Phoenix halted, glanced at the fabric in her grip, then exuded an aura of menace. Serena, do you think the Nightingales are still the same as they were? He spun around, roughly gripping her chin, her small face crumpling under his palm. Do you really think this engagement holds any weight? If it's to be annulled, it won't be by your word. Using this to threaten me, it's rather naive, don't you think? Serena fought back the sting in her eyes, struggling to keep her tears at bay. Since she was aware enough to understand marriage, she had believed she would wed him, having loved him for over a decade. But with the decline of the Nightingale family, she knew this day would come. Yet hearing it from Phoenix, a scenario she had rehearsed countless times in her mind, left her feeling suffocated. The dull ache in her chest outweighed the physical pain when Phoenix roughly threw her to the ground. Serena, what's with this act? When you were cavorting with other men in nightclubs, where was your nobility then? Phoenix frowned, giving her a cursory glance before shedding his jacket and tossing it into the trash. His disgust was palpable, as if her touch had tainted him irreparably. I'm sure you're familiar with everyone in that room. For a Nightingale heiress like you, charming one of them shouldn't be difficult, right? Each of Phoenix's words stabbed deep into her heart. She rose, refraining from offering any explanation. He hadn't believed her explanations in the past, convicting her without witness. Explaining now would be futile. She lifted her chin, managing a somewhat seductive smile. Yes, Mr. Lee is right. I'm really good at flirting with men. Would Mr. Lee care to try it out? Before her fingers could reach Phoenix, he shoved her away in disgust, causing her to collide painfully with the edge of the coffee table. The sharp pain in her knee was nothing compared to the agony in her heart. Serena, are you that desperate? The door slammed shut with a resounding bang. Serena froze, her forced smile lingering until she finally touched her cheek dry. Well done, Serena. You didn't cry. She curled up on the floor, burying her face in her hands. Since her father's death and returning to take over the company's mess, with internal finances strained and Phoenix refusing to assist, did she really have to turn to those people? But if not, would she let her father's life's work crumble under her watch? Her phone rang, the voice on the other end devoid of warmth. Change into that outfit and come to a nightclub. If you entertain them well enough, I might consider helping Nightingale Corporation. Serena pressed her lips tight, only managing to say after a while, what will they do to me? Instantly, she regretted her question. A mocking laugh echoed through the line before it went dead. Serena glanced at the clothes in her hands and laughed bitterly at herself. Serena, you really are cheap, desperately so. Otherwise, how could she still love Phoenix after being forced abroad by him? And now, endure such humiliation? She truly was despicable.